Ayes 25, noes 14. The measure passes. File item 386, Assembly Bill 1000. Senator Leyva. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 1000 by Assemblymember Weber and accrediting to the California State University.
Senator Leyva.
Yes. Thank you, Madam President and members. I am pleased to present to you AB 1000, which would regulate the process of levying student success fees at the California State University system. In 2012, the legislature froze tuition at the CSUs. However, a number of campuses adopted student success fees in an attempt to bridge the cuts made in the state budget during the recession. These campuses use student success fees to fund a variety of services during the recession, but these non-tuition fees increase the financial burden placed on low and middle income students and families. In the face of mounting pressure from the legislature and the public, the CSU system changed their policies regarding student success fees to make the process more transparent and more accountable. Because of the importance of this issue, AB 1000 aims to ensure that students will continue to have a voice in the student success fee process that directly affects them. Prior to implementing a new student success fee or increasing a current fee, AB 1000 requires the CSU to undertake a rigorous consultation process that informs and educates students and holds a student election on the proposed fee. The bill would ensure that students are eligible to offer input and agree for the implementation of student success fees. AB 1000 has received unanimous bipartisan support in both houses, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Any discussion or debate? Any discussion or debate? Seeing none, is there any objection to the use of unanimous roll call? Seeing none, ayes 40, noes 0. The measure passes. Moving on to file item 388. Assembly Bill 36. I don't have it. Pass. File item 389, AB 707. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 707 by Assemblymember Wood and accrediting to local government.
Senator Hertzberg.
No Assembly member voted against this bill in committee or on the floor. And no state senator voted against this measure so far up until this time. So I would suggest that my floor statement merits 140 characters of what would be a tweet. SB 707 would ensure locals are involved in negotiation to conserve agricultural and open space under the California Lands Conservation Act. Vote yes.
Any discussion or debate or tweet equivalent? Senator Nielsen.
Question to Senator Hertzberg. What is the origin of the bill? I'm just curious as kind of one of the daddies of the Williamson Act here.
Senator Hertzberg, will you field the question?
You're blowing my tweet here.
Well,
You already voted for
tweak
this.
is who's the tweak that brought the bill forward? Not you, but somebody. Was it the Farm Bureau or Department
This
of
is a
Conservation?
fight between the locals and the state, and I mean the locals and private sector interests in Dr. Woods, Assemblymember Woods' district, and he's trying to come up with some compromise. So it's been a little bit difficult challenge. We heard this in the governance and finance, but it's a good bill. It's worth your vote, darling. Can we use Yiddish here?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'm a little wary of it, Senator, even though it's not had opposition. I think I'll just abstain for now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further discussion or debate on this item? Seeing none, Senator Hertzberg, would you like to close? Please call the roll.
Allen. I. Anderson. I. Bates. I. Bell. I. Berryhill. I. Block. I. Canella. I. De Leon. I. Fuller. I. Gaines. I. Galgiani. I. Glazer. I. Hall. I. Hancock. I. Hernandez. I. Hertzberg. I. Hill. I. Wesso. I. Huff. I. Jackson. I. Lara. I. Leno. I. Leva. I. Liu. I. McGuire. I. Mendoza. I. Mitchell.
Aye.
I. Monning. I. Morlock. I. Morrell. Wynn. I. Nielsen. I. Pan. I. Pavley. I. Roth. I. Runner. I. Stone. I. Vidak. I. Wachowski. I. Wolk. Wolk, aye. Morrell, aye.
Please call the absent members. Oh, well, there we have it. Ayes 40, noes 0. The measure passes. Moving on to the next series of file items that we'll be taking up. File item 390, file item 391, 393, 394, 395, and 396. Starting with file item 390, AB 410. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 410 by Assemblymember Obernolte, an act relating to state government.
Senator Runner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This has support on both sides. Under current law, only reports submitted to the legislature as a body must be posted online. This does not include reports that are submitted to individual legislative committees, where some of the most significant policy and fiscal decisions are made. AB 410 would close this gap in transparency by requiring state agencies to post on their website any report they are legally mandated to submit to a legislative committee. As legislators, we have a duty to ensure that people's work is conducted in a transparent and open manner, and as such, public documents should be readily accessible as possible. And I'd ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. Any debate or discussion on this measure? Any discussion or debate on this measure? Seeing none. Is there any objection to the use of a unanimous roll call? Seeing none, ayes 40, noes 0. The measure passes. File item 391, AB 1017. Senator Jackson. Mr. Secretary, please. File item 391, AB 1017. Sure, pass temporarily. File item 393, AB 897. Senator Leyva. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 897 by Assemblymember Gonzalez, an act relating to grocery workers.
Senator Leyva.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, Senators, and I thank all of you for your previous vote on this bill. AB 359 by Assemblywoman Gonzalez was signed into law by Governor Brown on Monday, August 17th. However, Governor Brown included a signing statement requesting that the author's office provide clarification that the law would not apply to a grocery store that has ceased operations for 6 months or more prior to the execution of the transfer document. AB 897 reflects the author's commitment to work with stakeholders in order to address the governor's concern. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Any discussion or debate on the measure? Any discussion or debate? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Allen. Aye. Anderson. No. Bates. No. Bell. Aye. Berryhill. Block. Aye. Canella. De Leon. Aye. Fuller. No. Gaines. No. Galgiani. Glazer. Aye. Hall. Aye. Hancock. Aye. Hernandez. Aye. Hertzberg. Aye. Hill. Aye. Wesso. Aye. Huff. Jackson. I. Lara. I. Leno. I. Leva. I. Liu. I. McGuire. I. Mendoza. I. Mitchell.
Aye.
I. Monning. I. Morlock. Morrell. No. Wynn. Nielsen. No. Pan. I. Pavley. I. Roth. I. Runner. No, Stone. No, Vidak. Wachowski. Aye, Wolk.
Call the absent members, please.
Berryhill. Canella. Galgiani. Huff. Morlock. No. Wynn. No. Vidak. Wolk.
Ayes 24, noes 10. The measure passes. File item 394, AB 189. Senator Allen? Pass on file. File item 395, AB 606. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 606 by Assemblymember Levine, an act relating to state property.
Senator Wolk.
Madam President, AB 606 increases water efficiency and reduces water consumption by requiring state agencies to adopt drought-tolerant landscaping, utilize recycled water or rainwater capture irrigation, and replace irrigation with more efficient methods. 606 was provided to Assemblymember Levine by a fourth-grade class in his district that identified California's drought as a serious concern, and they proposed this bill. It has received unanimous bipartisan support, no opposition. Ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Is there any discussion or debate on this bill? Any discussion or debate? Any objection to the use of unanimous roll call? Seeing none, ayes 40, noes 0. The measure passes. File item 396, AB 313. Senator Bell, Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 313 by Assemblymember Atkins, an act relating to enhance infrastructure financing districts.
Senator Bell.
Madam President and Senators, this bill actually amends a bill that we approved last year, SB 628, which I authored. The bill would add provisions to the Enhanced Infrastructure Financing District to clarify the procedures that should be followed when replacing dwelling units that were removed or destroyed within a district as part of a project. And it also contains provisions that clarify that infrastructure financing districts are public financing authorities separate and apart from the legislative bodies which created them. I urge an aye vote on this measure. It's cleanup legislation. I urge an aye vote.
Any discussion or debate? Any discussion or debate? Any objection to the use of unanimous roll call? Oh, that's right. She's already gone. We're going to have a roll call, colleagues. Mr. Secretary, call the roll.
Allen. Aye. Anderson. Aye. Bates. Aye. Bell. Aye. Berryhill. Aye. Block. Aye. Canella. Aye. De Leon. Aye. Fuller. Aye. Gaines. Aye. Galgiani. Aye. Glazer. Aye. Hall. Aye. Hancock. Aye. Hernandez. Aye. Hertzberg. Aye. Hill. Aye. Wesso. Aye. Huff. Aye. Jackson. Aye. Lara. Aye. Leno. Aye. Leva. Aye. Liu. Aye. McGuire. Aye. Mendoza. Aye. Mitchell. Aye. Monning. Aye. Morlock. Aye. Morrell. Aye. Wynn. Aye. Nielsen. Pan. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Roth. Aye. Runner. Aye. Stone. Aye. Vidak. Aye. Wachowski. Aye. Wolk. Nielsen, aye.
Senator Bell moves the call. The next series of items, members, file items 398, 399, 400, 406, 407, and 408. File item 398, ACR 66, Dr. Pan is not at his desk. File item 399, ACR 93, Senator Hueso. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Concurrent Resolution 93 by Assemblymember Holden relative to fire safety.
Senator Hueso.
Thank you, Madam Pro Tem, Madam President. ACR 93 encourages California's local governments to re-examine ordinances regarding the use of fire suppression technology. California and California's local governments lead the nation in implementing new technology for fire suppression. In the wake of fire incidents in buildings, cities have responded to improving codes and improving technology and improving fire suppression measures. ACR 93 asks us not to wait for a fire incident or for a disaster before we start looking at fire suppression ordinances. It asks that fire suppression ordinances be re-examined to ensure that life-saving technologies can be utilized to the greatest extent possible. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Any discussion or debate on the measure? Any discussion or debate on ACR 93? Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen. Aye. Anderson. Bates. Aye. Bell. Aye. Berryhill. Aye. Block. Aye. Canella. Aye. De Leon. Aye. Fuller. Aye. Gaines. Aye. Galgiani. Aye. Glazer. Aye. Hall. Aye. Hancock. Aye. Hernandez. Aye. Hertzberg. Aye. Hill. Aye. Hueso. Aye. Huff. Aye. Jackson. Aye. Lada. Aye. Leno. Aye. Leva. Aye. Liu. Aye. McGuire. Aye. Mendoza. Aye. Mitchell.
Aye.
Aye. Monning. Aye. Morlock. Aye. Morrell. Wynn. Aye. Nielsen. Pan. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Roth. Aye. Runner. Stone. Aye. Vidak. Wykowski. Aye. Wolk. Anderson, no.
Call the absent members.
Morrell, no. Nielsen. Runner. Vidak. Wolk. Nielsen, aye.
Senator Hueso moves the call. File item 400, ACR 94. Senator Fuller, Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Concurrent Resolution 94 by Assemblymember Gallagher relative to California Manufacturing Day.
Senator Fuller.
Thank you, Madam President and members. Today I'm proud to present ACR 94, which recognizes the important contributions of California's manufacturing sector and designates October 2nd as Manufacturing Day. Manufacturing is crucial to California's economy. It provides hundreds of thousands of jobs as well as billions of dollars in revenue to this state. California is home to 30,000 manufacturing and technology-based companies, which account for over 10% of the total economic output in the state. ACR 94 recognizes these significant contributions of this diverse and multifaceted industry and recognizes the need to implement policies that will help manufacturing and technology thrive in our state. ACR 94 also designates October 2nd as Manufacturing Day, a day during which manufacturers across the state open their doors to help Californians learn about their industry. I respectfully request your aye vote.
Thank you, ma'am. Any discussion or debate on this measure? Any discussion or debate? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Allen. Aye. Anderson. Aye. Bates. Aye. Bell. Aye. Berryhill. Aye. Block. Aye. Canella. Aye. De Leon. Aye. Fuller. Aye. Gaines. Aye. Galgiani. Aye. Glazer. Aye. Hall. Aye. Hancock. Aye. Hernandez. Aye. Hertzberg. Aye. Hill. Aye. Hueso. Aye. Huff. Aye. Jackson. Lada. Aye. Leno. Aye. Leva. Aye. Liu. Aye. McGuire. Aye. Mendoza. Aye. Mitchell.
Aye.
Aye. Monning. Aye. Morlock. Aye. Morrell. Aye. Wynn. Aye. Nielsen. Pan. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Roth. Aye. Runner. Aye. Stone. I Vidak. I Wykowski. I Wolk. Jackson, I.
Senator Fuller moves the call. File item 406, AB 1130. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 1130 by Assemblymember Gray and Aquilane to clinics.
Senator Pan.
Thank you, Madam President. Senators, AB 1130 would allow intermittent clinics to be open 30 hours per week, up from the current statutory limit of 20 hours. Intermittent clinics are operated off-site by licensed clinics and are commonly open on school campuses and homeless shelters and in rural communities. They are often designed to serve specific vulnerable patient populations, such as veterans, at-risk youth, families living in poverty. The existing cap on operating hours was placed in statute 37 years ago. And today, full-time healthcare centers are open longer hours and continue to adapt to the needs of every community. Unfortunately, the current 20-hour cap severely restricts access to healthcare for underserved communities, hard-to-reach populations, and students alike. Raising the cap to 30 hours per week will prevent site closures, encourage new sites, encourage local access to healthcare services regardless of age, ethnic background, or income level. The bill has no formal opposition, has received unanimous bipartisan support in the Assembly. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, sir. Any discussion or debate on this measure? Any discussion or debate? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Allen. Anderson. I Bates. I Bell. I Berryhill. I Block. I Canella. I De Leon. Fuller. Gaines. I Galgioni. I Glazer. I Hall. I Hancock. I Hernandez. I Hertzberg. I Hill. I Wisso. I Huff. I Jackson. I Lada. I Leno. I Leva. I Liu. I McGuire. I Mendoza. I Mitchell.
Aye.
I Monning. I Morlock. I Morrell. I Wynn. I Nielsen. Pan. I Pavley. I Roth. I Runner. I Stone. I Vidak. I Wykowski. I Wolk. Allen, I. De Leon, I. Nielsen, I.
Senator Pan moves the call. File item 408. Oops, excuse me, nothing. File item 407. Assembly Bill 941. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 941 by Assemblymember Wood and Aquilane to clinics.
Madam President, members, this bill would give health clinics that are located off Indian lands the option of getting an exemption from the Department of Public Health state facility license. With the majority of California tribal health clinics located in rural areas of the state, many of their constituents have limited access to health care service due to the geographic nature of most rural parts of the state. Tribal clinics cannot always establish new clinics on Indian land, as many tribe members live off the reservation or rancheria. This requires opening new tribal clinics on non-Indian land in order to provide better access of care for patients. With that, members, I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion or debate on AB 941? Any discussion or debate? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Allen. I. Anderson. I. Bates. I. Bell. I. Berryhill. I. Block. I. Canella. I. De Leon. Fuller. Gaines. I. Galgioni. I. Glazer. I. Hall. I. Hancock. I. Hernandez. I. Hertzberg. I. Hill. I. Wisso. I. Huff. I. Jackson. I. Lada. I. Leno. I. Leva. I. Liu. I. McGuire. I. Mendoza. I. Mitchell. I. Monning. I. Morlock. I. Morrell. I. Wynn. Nielsen. I. Pan. Pavley. I. Roth. I. Runner. I. Stone. I. Vidak. I. Wachowski. I. Wolk. When I.
Senator Hernandez places that measure on call. We're going to return to, no, excuse me, sir. Somebody jumped ahead of you in line. I apologize. File item 403. We're going to go back, colleagues, to file item 403, ACR 96. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Concurrent Resolution 96 by Assemblymember Weber relative to Dropout Recovery Month.
Senator Liu.
Thank you, Madam President. This measure designates August as Dropout Recovery Month. Students who do not graduate from high school face severe limits on their future opportunities. We need to take a holistic approach to this problem and focus on the cause of dropping out, including academic resources, homelessness, abuse, and neglect. The Alliance for Excellent Education concluded that after research that if only 1/2 of the dropouts from a single year were to earn a diploma, the economic benefits to California would include an additional $1.4 billion in earned annually and an annual increase in state and local tax revenues of $167 billion. There is no opposition, and I ask for your support on the bill.
Any discussion or debate on this measure? Any discussion or debate? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Allen. I. Anderson. Bates. I. Bell. I. Berryhill. I. Block. I. Canella. I. De Leon. I. Fuller. Gaines. I. Galgiani. I. Glazer. I. Hall. I. Hancock. I. Hernandez. I. Hertzberg. I. Hill. I. Wesso. I. Huff. Jackson. I. Lada. Leno. I. Leva. I. Liu. I. McGuire. I. Mendoza. I. Mitchell.
Aye.
I. Monning. I. Morlock. I. Morrell. I. Wynn. I. Nielsen. I. Pan. I. Pavley. I. Roth. I. Runner. I. Stone. I. Vidak. I. Wachowski. I. Wolk. Anderson, I. Huff, I.
Senator Liu moves the call. Now we'll go to file item 408. Positive. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 154 by Assemblymember Ting, enacting to taxation and declaring the urgency thereof to take effect immediately.
Thank you for your patience, Senator Hertzberg. Please proceed.